Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources and research and really boil it down to the crucial insights, basically giving you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed.
Hmm.
So today, we're diving into something pretty interesting. It's a comprehensive guide that was originally made for beginner English learners.
Right.
But, and this is the key thing, don't let that description fool you. We're not just talking about learning English here.
No, definitely not.
We're going to unpack these fundamental principles for picking up any new skill, any new knowledge, and doing it quickly and, well, effectively.
That's exactly it. Our mission here, you could say, is to dig out these surprisingly simple but really powerful strategies from this material.
Simple but powerful. I like that.
Yeah, because they're not just language tips. They're kind of universal frameworks. You can apply them to learning coding or picking up guitar or even, getting good at a complex hobby.
Okay.
I think you'll probably have a few aha moments listening to this.
All right, let's dive in then. So the core idea, if someone is really starting from, square one with a new skill, what's the absolute first thing, the most effective move they should make? Because this guide seems really big on starting small, like incredibly small.
It is, yeah. And it's kind of brilliant because it's so simple. The guide really hammers home how important it is to set small, clear goals.
Okay. Small and clear.
Yeah. The examples are great, really concrete, like aim to learn just 5 new English words today, or maybe just watch 10 minutes of English video.
Right, not trying to conquer the world on day one.
Exactly. It's about creating a target you can actually hit right from the start.
I can definitely see how that keeps you motivated. I remember years ago, I tried to learn some French. And my first goal was, honestly, ridiculously small.
Yeah. What was it?
Just 3 phrases. Hello, how are you? And I'm fine, thank you. That was it.
Huh? That's great.
And, actually managing that, it felt like a huge win. It really did. But I do wonder, is there a risk you get too focused on just those tiny wins? Maybe lose sight of the bigger picture?
That's a fair question. But actually, it kind of highlights why the strategy works so well. It taps into basic psychology, positive reinforcement.
The dopamine hit.
Exactly.
Mm.
Each tiny success, even just nailing those 3 French phrases, gives you that little buzz. It wires your brain to link effort with reward.
Okay.
And it's not just languages. Think about, say, starting fitness. If your first goal is a marathon, you're probably going to quit.
Yeah, definitely.
But if it's just walk for 10 minutes today, you build momentum, that bigger picture. It starts coming to focus naturally as your confidence grows.
Okay, that makes sense. So you get that first little confidence boost from the small wins. What's next? How do you make sure that progress actually sticks?
The guide talks about building a strong foundation, like building a house.
Precisely. That's the analogy. You absolutely need a strong foundation. So for language, this means the real basics. Things like numbers, days of the week, and simple verbs.
The building blocks.
Totally. There's even this really memorable little anecdote in the source about someone learning apple as their very first word.
Just apple.
Yeah. And it emphasizes how those early simple things really stick in your head. They become like anchor points. Everything new you learn has a stable place to connect to.
So let's translate that. If someone's trying to learn, I don't know, a new software program or maybe understand a complex scientific idea, what happens if they skip the basics? Is that why people often get stuck?
I'd say in many cases, yes. Absolutely. If you try to jump straight to the advanced stuff without grasping the core terms, the basic functions, the fundamental principles, you're just going to feel lost all the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
It really is like trying to run before you can walk.
Yeah.
Nailing that foundation first just prevents your brain from getting overloaded later on, makes all the subsequent learning way more efficient. And a really big part of this guide, particularly for the English learners it was aimed at, is this idea of constant exposure. Listening every day. How does that work? Just listening while you're cooking, walking, or cleaning. How does that train your brain?
Well, it's a kind of passive immersion, really. Even if you're not consciously analyzing everything, your brain starts picking up patterns.
Oh.
The rhythm of the language, intonation, common chunks of words. It's like your hearing is mapping the language automatically in the background.
Right.
And the guide has this brilliant practical tip. Listen to children's shows in English.
Because they're simple.
Exactly. They're usually slow and clear.
Yeah.
It makes it super accessible. It actually reminds me of the example in the source where someone used Sesame Street to learn Spanish. Same idea.
Sesame Street for Spanish. I love it. Okay, so listening is one part. But the guide also really pushes active repetition, not just hearing words, but saying them out loud multiple times.
Yeah.
The example they give is so clear. Learn chair. Then say chair 10 times today. Make sentences with it. This is a chair. The chair is brown. I sit on the chair. Seems almost too simple.
But it's vital. That simple act is huge for memory, for recall. Every time you repeat a word or a phrase, you're literally strengthening the connections, the neural pathways in your brain.
Okay.
The more ways you connect to that information, hearing it, saying it, linking it to different situations, the deeper it gets embedded. It's active memory work. The more you use it, the better you remember it. Simple as that.
Okay, so this leads to something I think everyone struggles with when learning something new. The fear. The feel of actually doing it, speaking, making mistakes. The guide tackles this directly, which I found really helpful.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is this kind of counterintuitive idea it presents. Mistakes are good.
Good. Let's
Really?
see.
Yes, they show you're learning. They're proof of effort.
Yeah.
And the source has this fantastic, really funny anecdote about learning German.
Oh.
Someone mistakenly said something, trying to say they were full after a meal, but it actually meant, I'm pregnant.
Oh, no. That's memorable, all right.
Exactly. And because it was specific and kind of embarrassing but funny, that mistake completely cemented the correct word in their mind forever. The emotional tag and the correction process made it stick.
That's a powerful lesson for any skill, isn't it? Don't dread the mistakes. See them as feedback.
Precisely. It tells you exactly where you need to focus.
Mhm.
It's like finding a bug in your code if you're programming. It's valuable information.
So if mistakes are okay, even good, how do you actually practice speaking without being paralyzed by worry? The guide suggests some practical things, right? Like speaking with friends.
Yeah, or joining online groups or language exchanges.
Yeah.
Finding free spaces to practice.
Right.
And for times when you maybe don't have someone to talk to, it also suggests this really clever technique.
Yeah.
Just talking to yourself in English.
Talking to yourself.
Yeah. Just narrate what you're doing. Simple stuff.
Mm.
Out loud. Like, okay, I am making tea now, or I am washing my hands.
Huh. I never thought of that.
It keeps the language active, physically, in your mouth and mind. Builds confidence for when you do talk to someone else.
Okay, moving beyond just single words and basic exposure, how do we make the learning really functional so you can actually use it? The guide talks about learning full phrases, not just words.
Yes, this is a key shift.
Like learning thank you very much as one chunk, not thank then you, then very, then much. Or I'm reading a book instead of just memorizing book.
And that approach is way more effective for actual communication. Doesn't matter if it's language or another skill. Think about music. You learn chords, not just single notes one by one.
Tonality, yeah.
Language or any complex skill works in context. It flows.
Yeah.
Learning whole units of meaning lets you start building real communication much faster, much more naturally. It reduces the mental effort of trying to piece everything together from tiny bits.
And of course, we have to talk about technology. It's everywhere. The source mentions specific apps, Duolingo, Hello English, BBC Learning English, plus YouTube channels.
Yeah, and they can be fantastic tools, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Great resources.
I sense a but coming.
Well, there's a really important warning in the source. Watching is not enough. Just consuming content passively. It won't get you to mastery.
Right.
You must also speak and write. You have to actively produce things, too. It's got to be interactive.
Which ties into another idea, the learning journal.
Yeah.
For writing things down daily. Starting really simple, like the guide says, today is sunny, I feel happy, I will eat rice. And then getting gradually more complex over time.
Yeah, that practice really helps solidify things. It forces you to structure thoughts, use the vocabulary, figure out the grammar, and reading every day is crucial too.
What kind of reading?
The guide suggests starting easy,
Yeah.
short stories, children's books, or news articles specifically for learners. It even mentions using comic books, using the pictures to help guess the meaning.
Oh, that's smart. Visual cues.
Exactly. And the strategy for watching shows with subtitles. Start with subtitles in your own language, then switch to English subtitles, then eventually try with none at all. It's about using different ways to engage with the material actively.
Okay, this next point. This really struck me. Because I think it's where so many people, myself included, fall down. The guide really stresses staying consistent.
Ah, yes. Consistency. Crucial.
It says flat out, learning once a week is not enough. Daily practice, even if it's just for 10 minutes, is key.
It's that watering a plant analogy they use. Small drops every day make it grow. It sounds simple, but it's profound.
Why is daily so much better than, say, one long session a week?
Because you're building a habit. You're constantly reinforcing those neural pathways. Sporadic bursts of effort, they might start something, but they don't build deep, lasting knowledge or skill. Consistency fosters real growth over time, builds a strong structure.
And linked to that is patience. The guide is very clear. English will not come in 1 month, or any complex skill, presumably.
Right. Absolutely vital point. Managing expectations is key to avoid getting discouraged and quitting.
Right.
Learning just takes time. You have to accept that it's a journey, not a race, as the source puts it. Understanding that lets you actually enjoy the process rather than feeling like a failure if you don't see huge results immediately.
And finally, it circles back almost to the beginning. It highlights celebrating small wins.
It does, doesn't it? Full circle back to motivation.
Yeah.
The examples are great.
Yeah.
Maybe you managed a short conversation or understood a tricky sentence. Reward yourself. Have that favorite snack or watch your favorite show.
So it's not just frivolous, it actually helps.
Constantly. Those little rewards, that positive reinforcement, it's like fuel for the journey. It reinforces the learning habit itself, makes you want to keep going.
Okay, so if we boil it all down, the core strategies from this deep dive, the ones you can apply anywhere, set those small, doable goals. Really nail the basics first. Practice without fear, mistakes are fine. Immerse yourself consistently. Use tools like apps and journals actively. And cultivate patience and celebrate your progress.
That's a great summary. And if we just, connect this to the bigger picture,
Hmm.
it's really clear that these principles, yeah, they came from a language learning guide, but wow, they're actually universal keys, aren't they?
Keys to learning anything.
Yeah, keys to unlocking skill, proficiency, even enjoyment in pretty much any new thing you decide to tackle. They're not just about words. They're about how our brains actually learn and master stuff. It's kind of a blueprint for getting good at things fast.
So the question for you listening is, what new area could you dive into using these ideas? Think about that. Thanks for joining us.